Imagine you're standing on Market Street in San Francisco, neon lights blazing, crowds bustling around you. Suddenly, the ground trembles lightly. Glasses on a nearby bar counter shatter, and phones everywhere buzz with an urgent alert. Earthquake warning! Take cover now! In that moment, a memory flashes of a manga called The Shattered West Hypothetical, drawn by the legendary Japanese artist Ryo Tatsuki. The story depicts a megaquake devastating the west coast of the US on July 10th, with haunting images, the Golden Gate Bridge collapsing, Los Angeles engulfed in flames, and a 20-meter tsunami swallowing San Diego. What makes you shiver is that Tatsuki, dubbed the manga prophet, has never been wrong in her predictions. Here are 3 astonishing facts about the earthquake prophecy in manga. 1. Accurate past predictions. In her works from the 1990s, Tatsuki correctly foresaw the Kobe earthquake of 1995, magnitude 6.9, over 6,000 deaths, and the Northridge earthquake of 1994 in California, magnitude 6.7, 20 billion in damage. The details in her manga, like timing and location, matched reality in an eerie way, leading many to believe she had supernatural abilities. 2. Scientific research on prophecy. A 2023 report from the California Seismological Institute, Hypothetical, analyzed Tatsuki's manga, finding that 70% of her predictions of natural disasters aligned with historical seismic data. Scientists wonder whether Tatsuki relied on geological studies or truly saw the future. 3. Social media frenzy. Since June 2025, the hashtag #July10Megaquake has gone viral on X and TikTok, racking up 50 million views. A viral TikTok video shows a group of fans in Los Angeles analyzing the shattered West, discovering that Tatsuki accurately drew the Golden Gate Bridge breaking in half and a red sky before the disaster, details never published elsewhere. These facts raise a huge question. Is Tatsuki's prophecy in the manga mere coincidence, or a warning from the future? If the megaquake she predicted actually happens, what consequences would the US face? Can cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles withstand the power of nature? And can science explain this mystery? At What If Universal, we are passionate about exploring thrilling what-if scenarios, from natural disasters to cosmic mysteries. If you love pondering the future and don't want to miss any gripping scientific analysis, hit subscribe now. Turn on notifications to catch our latest videos, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Tatsuki's prophecy is real or just fiction? Join us as we dive into this hypothetical scenario where the west coast of the US faces an unprecedented megaquake. Hypothesis at 800 Quad AM. On July 10, 2025, a megaquake of magnitude 9.0 erupts along the San Andreas Fault, exactly as foretold in Ryo Tatsuki's manga, The Shattered West. The earthquake triggers 20-meter tsunamis, massive fires, and the collapse of major cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. This is the worst seismic disaster in US history, far surpassing the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, magnitude 7.9. Scientific basis. The San Andreas Fault is the boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate, where tectonic stress has built up over centuries. Seismic history, 1906. San Francisco, magnitude 7.9, destroyed 80% of the city, 3,000 deaths. 1989. Loma Prieta, magnitude 6.9, $6 billion in damage. 1994. Northridge, magnitude 6.7, $20 billion in damage. A 2024 report from the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, estimates a 60% chance of a magnitude 8.0 plus earthquake hitting the San Andreas before 2040, with potential damages up to $2 trillion. Physical and infrastructure impacts. The magnitude 9.0 megaquake at the San Andreas Fault is an unprecedented seismic event in U.S. history. The fault rupture spans 800 kilometers from northern to southern California, releasing energy equivalent to 10 million Hiroshima bombs. The shaking intensity reaches Ikes on the Mercalli scale in San Francisco and Los Angeles, causing violent tremors lasting 3 to 5 minutes, making most structures unable to stand. Urban infrastructure. The Golden Gate Bridge, an icon of San Francisco, splits in half due to oscillations beyond its design. Its massive steel cables snap, collapsing the bridge's central span, blocking the vital transportation link between San Francisco and Marin County. The Los Angeles Financial District. Skyscrapers like the U.S. Bank Tower and Wilshire Grand Center experience seismic resonance, shattering glass and bending steel frameworks. Dozens of buildings collapse or suffer irreparable damage. Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. Runways crack open, terminals flood due to tsunamis, paralyzing air traffic. San Francisco's airport suffers similar damage, disrupting international travel. Transportation systems. Interstate 5, the main highway connecting Northern and Southern California, collapses in dozens of sections, isolating major cities. The Bay Area Rapid Transit BART system in San Francisco shuts down due to flooded and cracked tunnels. Tsunami. 15 to 20 meter high tsunami waves, traveling at 600 km, strike the California coast just 20 minutes after the earthquake. Areas like San Diego, Santa Monica, and Santa Cruz are inundated. The port of Long Beach, the largest export hub on the West Coast, is completely destroyed, with thousands of containers floating in the sea. The tsunami reaches Hawaii, causing minor flooding in Honolulu, and affects Mexico's coast with 5-meter waves. Other consequences. Massive fires. Gas pipelines rupture in San Francisco and Oakland, sparking hundreds of fires that spread rapidly due to strong Pacific winds. Firefighting systems fail due to power and water outages, allowing fires to burn for days. Land subsidence. Some coastal areas in San Diego and Monterey subside by 1 to 2 meters, sinking permanently below sea level. Famous beaches like Venice Beach and La Jolla disappear. Aftershocks. Secondary faults like Hayward and Calaveras in the Bay Area trigger aftershocks of magnitude 6.0, 7.0, lasting weeks, causing further damage to weakened structures. Scientific data. According to the USGS, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake at the San Andreas would produce shaking stronger than any event in U.S. history. Modern buildings in California are designed to withstand magnitude 7.5 earthquakes, but not magnitude 9.0. The Shake Alert. Early warning system can provide 5 to 10 seconds of warning, but this is not enough to evacuate millions in crowded cities. Economic impacts. The magnitude 9.0 earthquake causes an estimated $2 trillion in economic damage, equivalent to 10% of U.S. GDP, making it the largest economic disaster in the nation's history. California, the world's 5th largest economy, suffers the heaviest losses, triggering a global ripple effect. Direct damages. Real estate. Millions of homes, offices, and factories in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego are destroyed or damaged. Rebuilding costs exceed $600 billion, with areas like Silicon Valley losing 40% of their infrastructure. Entertainment industry. Hollywood, the global hub of film production, grinds to a halt as studios in Los Angeles are destroyed. Major projects like blockbuster films and TV shows are delayed, causing billions in losses. Ports. The ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, handling 40% of U.S. imports, are paralyzed. Thousands of containers are swept away by the tsunami, disrupting international trade. Global impacts. Technology, Silicon Valley, home to Apple, Google, and Meta, suffers severe damage. Data centers flood, disrupting cloud services, social media, and artificial intelligence. Tech stock prices plummet 25% on the Nasdaq, costing investors trillions of dollars. Supply chains. Shortages of components from California. Slow production of smartphones, gaming consoles, and electric vehicles. Tesla and iPhone prices rise 20%, impacting consumers worldwide. Industries in Asia and Europe also stall due to reliance on U.S. components. International trade. Congestion at the Port of Long Beach causes shortages of goods in the U.S., from electronics to food. Countries like China and Japan face impacts from reduced exports to the U.S., slowing global economic growth. Financial crisis. The U.S. government must spend $1 trillion on relief and reconstruction, pushing public debt to 150% of GDP. The Federal Reserve, Fed, makes emergency interest rate cuts, but inflation soars due to goods shortages and high rebuilding costs. The stock market crashes, with the Dow Jones dropping 15% in a week. Insurance companies go bankrupt, unable to cover millions of claims from California. Small businesses, like restaurants and retail stores, close en masse, pushing California's unemployment rate to 18%. Cities like San Jose and Oakland fall into severe economic recession. Scientific data. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake at the San Andreas could cause damage 15 times greater than Hurricane Katrina in 2005, $125 billion. California contributes 14% to U.S. GDP, so its economic collapse would drag down the global economy, similar to the 2008 financial crisis. Social and humanitarian impacts. The earthquake and tsunami caused an unprecedented humanitarian disaster in the U.S., with 300,000 to 500,000 deaths, mostly in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Millions are injured, and 5 million lose their homes, creating the largest internal migration crisis in the nation's history. Human toll. Direct casualties. Tsunamis and collapsing structures are the primary causes of death. Densely populated neighborhoods in San Francisco and Los Angeles suffer the heaviest losses, with tens of thousands buried under rubble. Injuries. Millions are hurt by shattered glass, collapsing buildings, and traffic accidents during the panic. Hospitals are overwhelmed, lacking beds and medical supplies, leaving many without timely treatment. Homelessness. About 30% of California's housing is destroyed or uninhabitable, forcing millions into refugee camps or onto the streets. Relief crisis. Rescue infrastructure. International airports like LAX and SFO are damaged, hindering international aid. FEMA and National Guard teams lack fuel and equipment, rescuing only 15% of trapped individuals in the first 48 hours. Emergency supplies. Shortages of clean water and food in refugee camps lead to riots and looting. Diseases like diarrhea and pneumonia spread, increasing deaths in the 2 weeks following the disaster. Vulnerable communities. The homeless, poor, and immigrant populations in California suffer the most, living in substandard housing or lacking insurance. Minority groups like Latinos and Asians face barriers to aid due to language challenges. Social psychology. Panic and superstition. Tatsuki's manga prophecy is seen by many as a curse. New religious groups emerge, holding mass prayers at destroyed sites, preaching about a day of judgment. Trauma. Millions, especially children, suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, after witnessing the disaster. Mental health hotlines receive thousands of calls daily but lack staff to assist. Social division. The public criticizes the federal government for slow response. Conspiracy theories spread on X, claiming the USGS ignored earthquake signs predicted in Tatsuki's manga. Scientific data. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, large-scale disasters can cause 30% of the population to experience psychological disorders within 6 months. Studies from the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan show 40% of children suffered PTSD, and a California earthquake could have similar effects due to high population density. Environmental impacts. The earthquake and tsunami caused severe damage to California's environment, with consequences lasting decades. Landform changes. The tsunami erodes the coastline, permanently altering famous beaches like Santa Monica, La Jolla, and Santa Cruz. Some areas in San Diego subside by 1 to 2 meters, sinking below sea level. Landslides in the Sierra Nevada destroy forests and trails, altering the landscape of national parks like Yosemite and Sequoia. Pollution. Chemical and oil facilities in Long Beach are destroyed, leaking millions of gallons of oil and toxins into the Pacific Ocean. A 100,000-kilometer oil slick appears off San Diego, killing fish, seabirds, and other marine life. Debris from cities is swept into the sea by the tsunami, creating a new garbage island that threatens the Pacific ecosystem. An estimated 10 million tons of debris float, comparable to the 2011 Tohoku disaster. Ecosystems. Coral reefs off California's coast are destroyed, collapsing the fishing industry, which contributes $2 billion annually to the state's economy. Whales, sea lions, and dolphins vanish from Monterey Bay, fueling rumors tied to the Silent Sea detail in Tatsuki's manga. Forests in Northern California are devastated by landslides and post-earthquake wildfires, destroying habitats for bears, deer, and rare birds. Scientific data. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, tsunamis can cause marine pollution lasting decades. The 2011 Tohoku disaster generated 5 million tons of floating debris, and a California earthquake could cause similar damage due to its larger scale. Cultural and spiritual impacts. The earthquake not only destroys infrastructure and the environment, but also profoundly changes the culture and beliefs of Americans, with Ryo Tatsuki's manga becoming a focal point. Reassessing manga. The Shattered West becomes a global phenomenon, translated into 25 languages and selling 15 million copies in 6 months. U.S. publishers reprint Tatsuki's manga, but face criticism for profiting off the disaster. Universities like UC Berkeley and UCLA offer courses on manga and seismology, analyzing whether Tatsuki relied on scientific data or had supernatural abilities. Some researchers suggest she may have referenced seismic reports from Japan, which share similarities with California. Spiritual and superstitious impacts. Tatsuki's prophecy is seen by many as a divine sign. Religious groups hold mass prayers at destroyed sites, like the Golden Gate Bridge in Santa Monica Beach, believing the disaster is a punishment or warning for humanity. The hashtag Tatsuki prophecy reaches 150 million views on TikTok, with videos analyzing manga details and comparing them to reality. A viral video claims Tatsuki encoded the earthquake date in the manga's page numbers, fueling belief in supernatural elements. Some communities begin collecting Tatsuki's manga as prophetic texts, driving original copies to thousands of dollars on eBay. Cultural impacts. American culture, previously unfamiliar with manga, sees a boom in Japanese comics. Hollywood filmmakers produce documentaries and feature films about Tatsuki, attracting millions of viewers. California artists create murals and graffiti based on Tatsuki's manga, turning her into a symbol of the warning ignored. A famous mural in San Francisco depicts the Golden Gate Bridge breaking in half, with the caption, "Tatsuki saw it coming." The disaster also raises awareness about seismology, with millions enrolling in online courses on earthquake safety and disaster preparedness. Scientific data. According to cultural studies, major disasters often increase spiritual beliefs. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, 25% of New Orleans' population joined new religious groups. A California earthquake could have similar effects, especially due to manga's influence in pop culture. Conclusion. Ryo Tatsuki's manga prophecy may be a legend, but the threat from the San Andreas Fault is an undeniable reality. A magnitude 9.0 megaquake, whether tomorrow or 100 years from now, will destroy cities, shake the economy, and forever change how we live. Science has proven that California, with the world's most advanced earthquake-resistant systems, still cannot fully withstand nature's power. Early warning systems, quake-resistant buildings, and emergency drills can only mitigate, not prevent, the disaster. However, each of us can make a difference by preparing today. An emergency kit with water, food, and a flashlight, a clear evacuation plan, or simply a message to family. Earthquakes are not just a threat to California, but to the world, from the Pacific Ring of Fire to fault zones in South America and Asia. Ask yourself, if tomorrow is the last day of the city you love, what will you do today? Share your preparedness plans on X with the hashtag #NonMegaQuakeReady, and let's build a more resilient world together. Because in the battle against nature, preparedness is our strongest weapon.